In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the current conditions. We're going to be breaking down the upcoming pattern where winter is going to get one last laugh. And we're going to be taking a look at a major storm during that upcoming pattern that will bring some severe weather and a lot of snowfall. Now let's go ahead and break things down. We're getting into our current radar imagery here. And as you can see, we do have some snowfall around actually right now in these areas, and actually up here for kind of the New England and northeastern states here as well. There's some snowfall around. And then we have some thunderstorm activity underneath here. Kind of looks like a face, but that's what it is. That is what the weather looks like. Happy Easter, everybody, by the way, as well. I always forget it's a holiday in between like 5 and 7 a.m. I always forget, and then after that, I kind of start to realize. But today I realized it a little bit early, that it is a holiday, about 30 minutes early, so pretty proud of myself for that. I'm pretty delirious in the morning, but today I figured it out. Maybe I'm just growing out of that phase, I don't know. But we do have some showers up here for the northwest, so very, very isolated that you can tell they're miles and miles apart. And they're actually quite minor, so it's actually getting a lot nicer here for the northwest than it has been for weeks. I've started to realize as I've broken down the current conditions every single day just how dreary it can get out there. I've always heard it, but I've never really realized it. But since I look at the radar every single morning, I've started to see it firsthand, I guess you could say. Not as much as the people that live there, but I'm starting to understand a bit more. Now we do actually have some pretty major snowfall going on for Montana, especially there, and then even in through North Dakota and a little bit in northern South Dakota as well there, where there is some heavier snowfall showing up. Okay, and this area really is featuring snowfall that I would say is accumulating probably at a pretty steady click here. We can see this blue showing up, especially in this region in here. We're seeing some of these blues pop up, and that is extremely heavy snowfall that we're seeing in there, and probably accumulating quite quickly. That's probably nearly whiteout conditions where those blues are starting to pop up within the bright whites. The bright whites are already very heavy snowfall. The grays is going to be your more light snowfall, but there is some heavy snowfall featured in this area, and it seems like things are generally moving kind of in this direction. So we should see a lot of these areas see some of that snowfall as well. Now, to the south of here, we do have these showers kind of in between that aren't thunderstorms but aren't snow either. And that's kind of what we're seeing in here. And then in this area down here, this is what I would say is probably the thunderstorms. And they're very summer-like thunderstorms, I would say, where there really is no rhyme or reason here. There's just thunderstorms all throughout this area. We will take a look at the severe weather risk. We will take a look at that at the end of the video. The Storm Prediction Center, things are going to be kind of loosening up, I would say, as far as severe weather goes. But in the long range, we do have our sights on our next major potential severe weather event. So stay tuned for that for sure once we take a look at the upcoming pattern. There is these showers and thunderstorms just down here for Florida. These are generally moving offshore, though, and we're seeing these pretty much come to an end. And then up here for the northeast, we do have this snowfall up here, kind of coming off the Great Lakes. Could be in the form of lake effect snowfall, especially these pockets here. This is where we're particularly looking at some heavier snowfall. So that is definitely worth noting. There is some showers making their way into the Green Mountains and earlier on the White Mountains, some snowfall showers. And then we're seeing some rain race across. Can you see how fast that's moving? Absolutely flying through this region. But definitely all of this activity, I'm thinking, is going to be moving kind of out. So throughout the day today, we should see that kind of pretty much lightening up, and we should see that coming to an end. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about that upcoming pattern where winter is going to make its last return, I think. We're going to see winter-like temperatures and a lot of snowfall in areas that would probably usually only see it during the winter time. So we're going to see winter's last laugh. Then we're going to see a major storm come through and a potential pattern change. We're going to take a look at that. And then again, we're going to break down the Storm Prediction Center at the end of the video. All right, now here we are taking a look at that upcoming pattern. We can see that storm that is bringing snowfall in there. We can see these thunderstorms in here and these showers that are racing across in there. Let's just go ahead and move through with this. We can see the snowfall moves up into Minnesota and North Dakota. So again, we talked about this, I think yesterday or the day before, but really this is the area where we're mostly thinking weather might not be that nice here on Easter today. But really for the west, it's going to be nicer than it has been. And then here for the northeastern corner, it's also going to be quite nice. That is the expectations. And then overnight tonight, what we're going to see is this area of precipitation is going to really move up northward into here. And this snowfall is kind of going to redistribute itself towards the northeast. So that's what we're going to see happen. And we're really going to see this trough dig into the eastern United States. This is what I'm referring to when I say winter's last laugh. So let's watch this play out. You see how the jet stream does about like this, brings winter temperatures really to this entire corridor up here. We do see snowfall for Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, areas where it just would not typically be expected in late April. I mean, we really are moving into late April. And this is a nor'easter, which is a winter type of storm, usually. Usually these are reserved for the latest portions of fall, the earliest portions of spring, and then wintertime. So this is usually associated with more winter-like temperatures, especially when we're seeing snowfall for these regions: Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire. I mean, very unusual places seeing snowfall with this one. 996, and this is really a major snowstorm up here for the Northeast. And also, not to mention, major cold air making its way into the eastern United States. So we have seen some nicer weather make its way into this region. This is not an example. So this is really winter-like. And we see that move out eventually, though. So that moves up and moves out. And then we kind of move into a nicer pattern, definitely not winter-like anymore. The main area of the trough, or it's almost equal, but I think the main cold is located here in the west. There is a bit still here in the northeast. But generally, the warm temperatures are trying to head into the central and the eastern United States here, it looks like by this point to me. And as we move on, that does happen. We do see that this basically subsides, and we see the warm temperatures return. So there is a massive pattern change that does take place. Now, this flare-up here is when I think our next major severe weather event could be. So we see this flare-up on, let's see, Wednesday, starting Wednesday, April 20th. So that's about 3 or 4 days from now. So we should start to see that potentially pop up on the Storm Prediction Center. But I think Wednesday, April 20th, Tuesday, the 21st, we could see some severe weather in here, it looks like, if all things kind of match up. And then in here, we're seeing some of that activity on Friday, April 22nd. So we could see some northern-based severe weather taking place. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of that's taking place there on Saturday, April 23rd either. But then we get our next storm here. So let's watch how this one comes in, because we've been paying attention to the central United States, but it really swings in. And it does that classic thing I've been teaching you guys about for a few months now, where it really digs the trough into the west, and this encourages the warm air to really build into the east. So watch as this pulls the trough down. And look at all that snowfall. As we see a 991 here, and we get potentially another blizzard in this area. I'm not gonna say this too early, but this is potentially setting up to be another major snowstorm or potential blizzard for this region, unfortunately. And again, this is all a part of winter's last laugh. We have a 985 millibar low pressure center here with very heavy snowfall, even some freezing rain here on the southern extent of that wintry precipitation. And then you'd be watching for severe weather, specifically here on Sunday, April 24th. You'd be watching in this circle I drew, where that is a cold front. There's a clearly defined cold front right here and a clearly defined warm front right here. And probably warm air is racing in ahead of this. That was a terrible arrow, but we're just going to ignore that. And then for Monday, April 25th, we see that severe weather move into this region. And then for Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, we see it move into here. So that's going to be mostly for Tuesday. And then potentially a trough moves back in. Now, let's just break down the total snowfall here. We're going to take a look at a national view. There's our second blizzard. Look at that. Similar regions and similar amounts, unfortunately. I'm just going to break down all these color shades. We have the grays where it's a dusting, if anything. Blues will be 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples will be 6 to 10. Pinks will be 10 to 20. Our pastel blues will be 20 to 30. And then our pastel purples or pinks, kind of magentas in here. We see some of those flaring up in North Dakota and Montana there. That is where we expect potentially 38 to 48 inches of snowfall. And unfortunately, that is absolutely gargantuan amounts, and there would probably be snowfall still on the ground from that blizzard you guys just had. So I don't really know what to say about this, but it just looks very insane to me. Now, what we're going to do here is zoom into New England. I want to talk about, or we'll just zoom into the Northeast. I want everybody to be able to see But we're expecting a lot of snowfall here. Specifically here for the Adirondacks and Catskills here, as you can see, where there's 10 to 20, even 20 inches plus possibly being popped up in some of these very high elevation areas. The Green Mountains and Berkshires as well, we see 10 inches plus in there, and then for the White Mountains also. So there's these three corridors where we expect 10 inches plus. And really, it's about 6 to 10 in between those mountain ranges, so it's not getting that much lighter. There's going to be a major snowstorm for this time of year, and it's just really interesting the pattern we're finding ourselves in. I mean, really, this is just extreme weather. We have a ton of severe weather, a ton of violent temperature swings, and then also a lot of this snowfall, which is just crazy to me. All right, now let's go ahead and move into the temperature pattern real quickly. All right, now again, we've talked about this just being a kind of winter moving back in type pattern, and look at this area. I mean, far below normal temperatures. Anywhere in the greens are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below what is normal, and then those blues in here, you see most of that going on right here. That is going to be about 15 to 25 degrees below normal, and then these magentas in here, that's going to be 25 to 30 degrees below normal. So keep that in mind as we work our way through. These temperatures really just dig into the east here, where we have, the 15 to 20 degrees below normal temperatures just lingering in here. This is Monday, Tuesday time frame. And it doesn't last too long. Wednesday we have it in here. But thankfully it does try to move out eventually. And this is when we start to see these warm temperatures surging in as we have a major storm moving in from this way. So the storm's probably somewhere in this area. Yeah, somewhere in there. And we see the cold air really building in behind it as this snowstorm takes place in here. And then the warm air is surging out ahead. So in the east, things are going to get nicer. They're pretty much at their peak worst over the next few days. And they're going to get a lot nicer. So warm air is going to stick around for quite an extended amount of time. So warm temperatures move into the east around Thursday, Friday time frame this upcoming week. And they're still around for a lot of folks still by early the week after. So Monday the 25th, Tuesday the 26th here. And then cold air is moving back in by the time we're reaching 26th, 27th time frame, which will be Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of that week after this upcoming one. So midweek after this upcoming one, take it with a grain of salt. That is long range, but we do see potential cold air returning in here, unfortunately. But stay tuned with us, check in daily, and we will update you guys on all of these things. Now let's go ahead and break down the Storm Prediction Center real quickly. Now there's not a lot to talk about here. Thankfully, we do have a slight risk through the day today. Again, today is Easter. It's the 17th, April 17th today, Sunday. We have general thunderstorms expected in these lighter green areas. That's our general thunderstorm risk area. And severe weather is possible, but not expected. But, always expect the unexpected. Severe weather could happen in here. It could happen in here. It could happen in one of these areas, in the white areas. Anything is possible. That is how Earth works. Now, for the individual outlooks here for day one, well, first off, I forgot to break down these other regions. We have two marginal risks here. This is where isolated severe weather is possible, and then this yellow area is our scattered severe weather area. This is our slight risk. That is where scattered severe thunderstorms could take place. Now, for our individual outlooks, the day one wind outlook. This is all based on 25 miles of a given location. We have a 5% chance there of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location there in the green, and then a 15% chance there in the yellow. That's why we have our slight risk. Then our hail outlook here, we have two 5% chance areas there in the two green areas, a 15% chance area there in the yellow, and then a significant hatched area there for Louisiana and Mississippi, indicating that 2-inch diameter or larger hail could be possible. Really, this week has really featured a lot of huge hail events. So it's just continuing on today potentially. So keep that in mind. For the tornado outlook, we have a 2% chance there in the green and then a 5% chance there in the brown. So tornadoes will be possible today. Keep that in mind. And please heed all those watches, warnings, and advisories that might come out. Now, for the day two categorical outlook, thankfully things are subsiding by the time we're reaching day two. We have three general thunderstorm risks, one here, and one here. And again, these are where general thunderstorms are expected. Anything's possible, but hopefully we're going to see no severe weather in those as expected. We have three general or marginal risks here. One for the Outer Banks of North Carolina, one for the southeast here in northern Florida, southern Georgia, and southern South Carolina, and then one here for the east coast of Florida. This is where isolated severe weather is possible, but it should not be too bad unless the unexpected happens. So again, expect the unexpected and heed all those watches, warnings, and advisories at all times. And then for day 3, we only have 2 general thunderstorm risks, thankfully. One here for the Northwest, and then one here for the central United States. That's again where general thunderstorms are expected. Of course, severe weather is possible, but it is not expected at this point. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we are at a 4 out of 6 still. We have not moved that close to our major events, really, that we're looking forward towards. So we are, for now, just sticking with a 4 out of 6, but we should be moving up to a 5 over the next couple of days. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Craich, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry LePan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harlem, Kudalasa Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Garys, and John Khaleesi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.